Welcome to episode 6 of Stay on Target, the official Hazard Time podcast. I'm your host, Liam. I'm joined today by my first guest ever, Joe Rich. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me.
I guess we just had to get you on at this point. We've
I,
been mentioning you so much.
there's been a lot of mentions. I have a voice that must be heard. So I'm glad that I finally got on this such a prestigious podcast.
Felt only fair. I figured the topic for today's video, we would start off at least. We would talk about movie marathons. I mean, is there any franchise that you like to marathon watch, I suppose?
I guess the only ones that I've ever marathoned are Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, which is probably a very normal answer to this.
Hmm.
But yeah, when I was in when Star Wars 7 came out, like The Force Awakens, I marathoned The Phantom Menace up to Return of the Jedi in one day. That was pretty excruciating.
Yeah, I've never done Star Wars. There's just too much bad.
I mean, it was fun. Honestly, the prequels were the more fun part because I was with friends, so it was easier to joke and riff and stuff, especially with all the memes. And this was at the height of prequel meme culture too.
Right.
And we had energy, but by the time we got to A New Hope, we were all just dead.
Yeah.
And then we basically just sat there half asleep and for another 9 hours or whatever until it ended.
Now with Lord of the Rings, was that extended edition?
It was not.
Ah,
I Yeah, I don't own the extended editions.
have you seen the extended editions?
I think I've seen the first one and the third one. I don't know if I've ever seen the extended edition to the Two Towers.
Yeah. See that's the real test is watching the extended edition marathon because that's like 12 hours of
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, and I used to worship those movies back in the day.
They're great movies.
They're still really good, but yeah, I just never had access to them, I guess. Back when I was willing to marathon, because now I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to watch a 5 hour extended edition of Return of the King.
Yeah, it's good though. That's always the one that I wish I could marathon at some point. I want to make a point too. I got time off next month. I think I might try again. But I have two franchises that I marathon, and I've marathoned them a couple times actually. Surprisingly, it's I feel like I'm gonna get I feel like I'm gonna get some crap from you for this, but it's the Saw franchise
Oh yeah.
and the Resident Evil franchise.
Okay. Well, I've actually never seen a Saw movie or a Resident Evil movie. I imagine Saw after the first one, it gets kind of, I don't know. I feel like the first one is a pretty good attempt at making a kind of a small budget horror movie that's you know, kind of
Right.
minimalist, I guess, if I think I got what the movie actually is. But then if it's all just shock and just gore porn and stuff, I feel like it would get old after there's no more shock to be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with the Saw franchise, the first one was definitely good. And then I guess it starts going downhill a little bit. I think the first three make a decent trilogy, but the problem is with the way they are, you can't just end it. Like, if you saw the first three Saw movies
Eh.
and then they announced that there was a Saw 4, you're like, ah, I gotta watch the Saw 4 because, all these movies end on, cliffhanger twist endings where you gotta at least finish the
Are
story.
they connected? Because isn't the premise there's this the crazy jigsaw guy and he just kidnaps some people and makes them do horrible crap to their bodies and stuff.
Yeah, they're all connected because,
But what's the overline? What's the plot that connects the movies?
I guess just the one guy, like like
Jigsaw?
yeah, just like at the Halloween movies, it's all Michael Myers,
All right.
or the Freddy or the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, it's all Freddy Krueger.
I mean, how much horrible things can Jigsaw do before like changing gear?
You'd be surprised.
All right.
But the thing about those two franchises that make them that made me be able to marathon them is that like after like the second movie, those movies just mesh together so much that you have I can't tell you what happens in like Saw 6 compared to Saw 5. Just like the Resident Evil movies. So every time I rewatch those movies, it's like almost like a new experience for me.
I mean, I haven't seen Resident Evil movies. They look kind of stupid to me. And but
Uh,
like for Saw, I guess I don't know. Like, why is there so many Saw movies? How much? I don't know. I don't get it. They're not for me.
I guess there's so many Saw movies because they were cheap to make and they made it a
Well,
decent
yeah,
amount of
like I
money.
get the economics behind it. I'm more saying from like a artistic merit perspective. It's like I don't know. It just seems like they made the same movie 7 times as an outside observer.
More or less. 8 times. 'Cause then there was
Eight
the
times? Eight of them?
yeah, because there was the Jigsaw movie
Oh
recently.
yeah,
That
that's
was
too many. That is too many movies for
that was
any
pretty bad.
franchise.
But Final Des I mean not Final Destination.
Resident.
Resident Evil. A lot of people hate those movies.
I
I
mean,
guess more so because they're fans of the games. They're not great movies, but I enjoy them, and I've never played the games, so
I played like 10 minutes of Resident Evil 4 once on like the GameCube.
I think the extent of my video game horror playing is Silent Hill 4: The Room. I don't think I've ever even
I
completed that game.
never really played any horror games.
No.
You know what game's actually kind of scary, or at least was when I was a kid?
What?
And I will defend as being kind of okay, like pretty decent actually, is the video game for Peter Jackson's King Kong.
That's like a really tough game to play though.
Have you ever played it?
I I played some of it. I think I have it on Xbox.
I mean, like Rich and I had it for the GameCube, and we like played the whole thing, I think. And like the missions where you actually play as King Kong aren't like scary at all, but like when you play as like Adrian Brody or whatever, it's very dark and it's always rainy and there's like creepy Skull Island people walking around and you have to just like use these like dinosaur ribs as like spears and they'll just be like it's pitch black and then a T-Rex will be there and it's just like kill it with a spear. And as like a
I
10-year-old, it was actually pretty frightening. Especially since like I was a GameCube kid growing up, so like there wasn't a lot of intensity there. There were more just, like fun, Nintendo games, and not as much like scary, dark action games of where you like don't have any ammo because like the most ammo you'd ever have in that game is like 10 bullets. So you'd have to really conserve like what weapons you use. I remember it being pretty good, but I was a kid, so I could be wrong.
yeah. I didn't know you got to play as King Kong, but
I'm pretty sure
I
you
remember.
did, and it was just like I haven't played in years, in like probably over 10 years. But I'm pretty sure you play as King Kong for parts of it, and like you can like I don't even know if they like have like New York City as a level though. I don't remember.
I don't think they do.
That was probably like they couldn't. I don't know. That might have been too much programming power
Probably.
to, for that era.
All I remember is like from the demo that I played, it was just really tough because I was like fighting a T Rex or whatever, and I had this machine gun, and it like wouldn't stay still. It was like sweet. The machine gun was like swaying all over the screen. I couldn't,
I
fire it.
see. I don't remember like the details of it, and I like that was back. I was young enough where I probably didn't realize like difficulty in games. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember in the GameCube era, we had like Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3, which is a really good game, where you like most of it is like you're piloting like an X-wing or like an A-wing and stuff, and you're like play as Wedge Antilles like half the time, and you just like do missions for
Nice.
Rebel Alliance. It's a really good game if you haven't played it. It's like objectively good, and there's this one part where you're like Luke Skywalker, I think, and you have to like you're in Dagobah and you have to like levitate the X-wing out of the swamp, you know? How he
Right.
does that. And like we to do that you just have to like rapidly press the A button or something. And Rich and I were physically like too young and like not developed yet physically that we couldn't move our thumbs fast enough. So we had to get our dad to rapidly press the
What?
button because we literally couldn't get past the game. We couldn't like beat the game just because of that part, and it was just because like our muscles weren't developed enough, which I
How
find
old?
kind of funny.
How old were you and Richard?
I don't know. I was probably like 8. He was probably like 10,
10 couldn't smash the A button?
maybe. I
I
don't
don't,
know.
I don't know.
He's
That's
small and weak, frail man.
10-year-old Richard needed to work out more, apparently.
Exactly. He needed to get the gangs. He needed to become yoked.
You even lift, bro? But yeah, I got Kong Skull on my Xbox because I bought like 5 Xboxes at Goodwill for some reason.
Like original Xboxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you have so many of them?
Why do you have so few?
I mean, I've never. I don't know. That's a
Exactly.
good point. I've only played the original Xbox like twice,
But
both at like various friends' houses in like elementary/middle school.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like not a ton of people owned it, so
right.
you're kind of an individual. Like everyone was like a PS2 kid. I feel like
I don't know.
because I was kind of weird because I was a GameCube guy. We didn't have a PS2 or an Xbox. So I was like as a kid, I was a GameCube and like PC gamer, I guess. But all of my friends in school were like PS2 kids. So I was kind of left out because they were always talking about like Ratchet and Clank and shit and Naruto games and stuff, and I was like Mario Kart.
Yeah, I've always been an Xbox guy myself, but one of the Xboxes that I bought from Goodwill turns out that it was modded. So I have like a bunch of games that are just on the console itself that I don't
That's
need
pretty
discs.
cool. That's
It
a
was
good find.
it was really cool. I wish I want to like get into modding so I can put other games that I don't have on there. I had like Simpsons Hit and Run,
That's
which
a
is
good
great.
game.
It's a great game, and
I
like
rented that. I either rented that from Blockbuster a couple times back when that was a thing, or like my friend in elementary school had it, and we played it a lot at his house. Back when I was a St. Mary's kid. But what was I gonna say? I'm almost glad. Like I'm glad I was a GameCube guy, because like my mom wouldn't let me play M games at that time. So, like, if I had an Xbox, like, I couldn't play Halo or anything. Like, I couldn't play any M games. So it's
right.
like GameCube is probably the best for like if you have that constraint because it has like fun games that I could play in front of my mom and she wouldn't get mad.
Do you do Steam? Like, do you have Steam? Play?
I have Steam, yeah. I have like a crap ton of games on there because there's like this one humble bundle thing I got. It was like $30 and I got like 100 indie games. And I don't think I've played any of them but one. But I don't play it that often, but I've been playing Skyrim again, and I like play Civ 5 a lot because I'm a nerd.
Right. You play
Yeah,
you play that you play that a lot.
I used to like 10th grade was probably my peak Civ 5, 10th or 11th grade, like 5 years ago. But now I've kind of slowed down.
Because I would remember me and Dimitri would come over to see Richard, and you'd be playing Civ 5 all the time.
I mean, I've gotten back into it this summer. I went on like a year hiatus, but then a friend of mine literally just bought it like 2 days ago. So he's been like constantly messaging me like, "What do I do?" So now I'm in the Civ mood again, because I don't know, it's very replayable, it's very addicting,
I
and every
recently,
game's like different, so it doesn't really get that old. It has like a longevity to it that is kind of unrivaled.
I recently played Lost via Damas for the first time.
I don't even know what that is.
The Lost video game. You never heard of it?
That sounds freaking horrible.
I think it was for Xbox 360. I think
Like an early that generation.
probably, yeah.
That sounds like a horrible game. I gotta be honest. Like,
It
what
was.
do you do?
It wasn't that bad. You do Lost stuff. You know, you run out of you run
You
around the
do lost
jungle.
stuff, just like
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, you talk to people, run around the jungle, hide from the smoke monster, blow stuff up,
All
try
right.
and figure out who you are.
There's a lot of like video games back in like the mid 2000s. Like they made a video game based off of every single movie ever made and like every TV show. And they don't do it anymore, which is kind of a shame. Not because the games were ever good, they're just kind of funny. Like the fact there's a lost game is kind of funny to me because it's such a weird thing to have a video game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think video game companies have realized how to make money. It's not about making a lot of games, it's just about making one game with
Like
microtransitions or
I feel
transactions.
like there's been a transition to like I don't know what I'm not like an industry guy. I don't even pay attention to the gaming at all anymore. I don't even play video games that much. But it seems like back in that like early Xbox 360, like original Xbox era, and maybe I'm just looking back at my childhood with nostalgia or something, but it seems like I don't know. I just assume that it got so expensive to make like games now that like the only games that exist right now are like really big blockbuster franchise games, like the Call of Duties of the world, and then like PC indie games, and that's
Yeah,
cool, and that's like a good, and that's not a bad thing, but like back in the early 2000s and stuff. I just assume it's cheaper because you could be playing like a 3D game with decent graphics based on literally any media property ever, and I can't imagine that any of those ever made that much money. So I just assume, and I could be wrong, that like the cost of making it like a 3D game for like all three like Xbox One or whatever and PS4 now is just so like astronomically expensive that if you're not doing it for like a mega franchise or something that's like gonna actually be popular and well received, like you just have to make an indie game. Where back in the day there was like a weird mid tier of games
right.
that like just don't exist anymore. It seems like I could be wrong.
And I think you're right, and that's kind of like why Valve doesn't want to make
Half Life,
or any like first or
any.
any like games. You
Well,
know,
that's
they
like I feel like part that's Valve's in like a is a kind of individual compared to other companies because like they own the marketplace. So it's
mm,
not like they have other stuff they're doing. It's not like Valve isn't doing anything because they have Steam, which is like how many Steam accounts are there in the world? Probably hundreds of millions.
yeah.
But like, yeah, and I feel like I, I don't know.
Plus,
If
another thing
if
with
Valve
Valve,
ever makes another game, which I don't know if they ever will, they
I
might
think
make.
they are. They
They
definitely are.
probably will. They're just waiting. They'll like release it with some new technology, and it'll be like half tech demo probably. They'll make like a VR thing or something. I don't know. Maybe not. But like when they make another game, if they do, I feel like the expectations will be so high that it's a lose lose. I feel like at this point, if it's not like some genius work of like masterpiece, it's like if it's not one of the best games ever made, people will be like, "What the hell? I waited 20 years for this," and it's like a
Yeah.
7 out of 10. So it, I don't know. I just feel like there's like an extraordinary amount of pressure because if it came out with like a Half-Life 3 or like a Portal 3, and it's like just okay, like everyone would be like, I don't know, really mad. I feel like. It would just
Yeah.
be like the biggest letdown of all time.
But I think they definitely are making games because I think there's been
They
talk
have to
that
be, right?
yeah, they're making like 3 VR games because they've been working on that that Knuckles VR
Knuck-
thing for so long.
I don't know what that is. Like Knuckles from Sonic.
No, Knuckles,
Okay.
it's like a VR thing, except the difference is it senses your fingers. So you could like
Oh shit.
so you could have like 3 fingers holding onto the thing, and then your pointer finger would be like the trigger, so you could like actually fire guns like you were
I feel like
pulling the trigger.
that technology is probably awesome, but after like if that when it comes out, it won't be used that much until like 10 years. It'll just become like used for creepy dudes doing creepy sex stuff in like weird VR sex cafes.
I suppose. I
Do you
don't
know what
know.
I mean?
Not really, but I'm
I don't
not
know.
gonna.
I feel like that's there. This isn't a certainty, but a future that could easily happen is like the only use of VR in the future is just like porn.
That's partly inevitable.
Because there's obviously gonna be VR porn, obviously, but like I don't know. I just feel like I don't know with VR, like the technology isn't good enough yet to warrant it being awesome, and there's not enough like applications for it, and it's still really expensive to just get the hardware, and you need like a really good computer to run anything. That like it's cool. I'm glad it exists because it's like cool future shit, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's worth the money right now to me, at least. Like
Right.
any of the VR things. But I've never used VR because I'm a poor college student.
Yeah, I think they're making what's called HLVR is one of Valve's games.
HL? Is that like
Yeah,
a Half-Life?
yeah. I guess it's the
Or are they
rumor.
just like tricking people into thinking it's Half-Life because they're dicks and want to
No,
mess with people? Because I
I
would
guess
respect that.
I guess the rumor is it's a Half-Life game where you're playing as Alex Vance in
Mm.
between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. So it's not
That
Half-Life
might be
3.
a good way to do it. Because if
Yeah.
they just like make a direct sequel, I guess the expectations are going to be so high. Whereas if they do like a spin-off thing, like you can kind of temper them a little bit.
Have you ever like marathon games? Like played a bunch of single player games back to back?
Um, I don't think so. Maybe I kind of did with the Mass Effect trilogy ones,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like I want to call it a marathon because
Hmm.
it did take a while.
Well, I mean, as long
But
as you did them consecutively, I would guess it
well,
counts.
yeah, then I guess that would be it. Is just the Mass Effect trilogy.
I did that with Halo.
Halo. I never had an Xbox, so I only played Xbox 360 Halos.
And the Halos are all good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
they are pretty good. Those were good times. Local multiplayer was a good thing.
I think I played Halos 1 to 4 because Halo 5 wasn't out yet.
Do anyone care about the new ones? Like after Reach, I feel like Reach was the last hurrah of when Halo was like a big deal.
I care about the new
I
ones.
know you do, but I don't know. I feel like Halo's like time in the spotlight was kind of gone by the time like Halo 5 came out.
I don't think
Like
so.
we're like a lot. I mean, I'm probably like yeah, I'm sure like a lot of people bought it, but I don't know. I feel like its dominance was gone because it was like the most popular games in like America for like probably like 10 years. And then like Call of Duty and stuff came, and I feel like it's slowly I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is all the young
Like
kids, all they care about is their Fortnites and Minecrafts. And
Minecraft's fun. I've never
it,
played Fortnite. I don't get the
Minecraft's okay.
I don't get the hate. Like people just hate things that kids like because they're different than what they liked when they were kids, and I think that's just freaking a stupid ass worldview. Because it's like, why do you care what kids like right now? Of course they're different. Like, of course a kid isn't gonna want to play something or watch something from like the early 2000s with terrible graphics just because you have nostalgia for it. Like, let kids do what they want. Who gives a shit if they like Fortnite? You know what I mean?
I suppose. It's still a stupid game, but
I mean, Minecraft is a legitimately good game.
it's okay.
I will defend Minecraft is good. Fortnite I've never played, but I could see it being kind of fun if you get good at it. But it's probably at the point where like everyone's who's playing it is really good, so it sucks ass.
Have you watched any movies recently, like in theaters?
In theaters, well, I work at a theater, but I
Oh,
don't go to the theater.
that's right. I think Dimitri was telling me about that. How you work at the drive-in.
I work at the drive-in. Yeah, that's fun. I was there last night.
Is that a summer job or?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's only open for like
Oh well,
five
yeah.
months
It,
out of the year.
it is a
But
summer job.
yeah, like I'm like between Horseheads and Buffalo, so I'm like in Horseheads in the summer, and then I'm in Buffalo the rest of the year.
Might
But
be. This is like break from college.
yeah, it's just like summer vacation.
Well, we're getting
But
the drive.
yeah, the drive-in. Have you ever been to a drive-in?
I went once.
You to specifically the one that I work at, I assume, right?
Yeah.
I think drive-ins are very fun in theory because like, but they're fucking horrible. At least the one in Elmira is a horrible place. It's like in theory, it sounds like a cool like nostalgic throwback to like a bygone era where you get in your car and you get popcorn and you drive and you watch a movie. It's like American Graffiti 50s stuff and it's all cool. But in reality, the movie starts so late that like you're there, and if you stay for the double feature, you're there until like 3 a.m., which is too late. And then like the screen quality is horrible because it's just projected onto like a wooden frame that's and like there's a bunch of bugs because it's at night, so all the bugs gravitate toward the light of the projector. So there's just a bunch of moving dots on the screen, like shadows of mosquitoes. It's the one in Elmira is like they literally just like cleared 4 acres of woods by the river of like marsh. So it's the most humid, just muggy place. They just cut down trees into a field, so there's so many just bugs. You probably half the people that go there get Lyme disease probably the minute they leave.
Well,
It's just like a ramshackle, disgusting place.
so you don't watch movies. You just like you
No, I
watch the screens and
No, I
don't
don't
hear
even
the
get to
dialogue.
watch the screens because the screens are outside and I'm inside making the food because I'm like the fry cook. So I can get in for free anytime I want.
Why would
But
you?
yeah, I mean, like they have two screens, so they're only playing like the most popular movies, and I don't really care about most of the popular movies that come out. I just don't care enough to watch them.
I feel like I'm talking to
I
Richard.
might go to watch Toy Story because Toy Story intrigues me. Like I could see that one being good. But like, I'm not gonna go watch Secret Life of Pets 2 at 3 a.m. in the morning in a swamp. Like that sounds horrible. And then there's no speakers, so to play the audio, you have to leave your car on, but like you turn the engine off, but you leave the power on, so you play through the radio and you have to tune into the radio station. So then like half the people that go there, like their car battery dies because the battery was on for like 3 hours, but their engine wasn't. And they literally people just leave their car there overnight and just like get a ride home, and then I'll like be the first one there at 6 p.m. the next day, and there's just like three abandoned cars. It looks like the apocalypse. It's kind of funny, but
Did you see Avengers Endgame?
I have not. I have seen three Marvel movies in my entire life.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels like I'm talking to Richard again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just kind of stopped caring about like popular culture after like I turned 18. For the last like 3 or 4 years, I've just kind of stopped paying attention to like movies and video games and stuff as much as I did, because I was into that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I know another. I did marathon another movie series, kind of. It's like a pseudo marathon of The Godfather 1 and 2. Because you know how like AMC plays those movies like every other week?
Right.
Yeah, it was just like one of those, and I was like home and I wasn't doing anything. And they're like, those are like 10 out of 10 like masterpiece classics of cinema. So I love those movies. So or at least the first two. Third one, yeah. But yeah, so I wasn't completely paying attention the whole time and stuff. I probably like had an hour dinner break. I might have left the house at some point because Godfather 1's like 3 hours long. Godfather 2's like 4 hours long. There's like an actual intermission in that movie. But I did watch most of both of them in one day once. But it wasn't intentional. It was just like I don't want to leave the house, and this is better than baseball or golf.
Now that I think about it, I did marathon the Hobbit movies.
Oh
because
God!
I
Why?
watched all three of them in theaters. It was like the third
I
one was
did
coming
that.
out. The third one was coming out, and I would get a chance to see the third one early if I watched a marathon of the first two. So I figured, yeah, sure, why not? And so I did it. It was not bad.
I do not like those movies.
They're okay.
The first one was good enough to not make me mad. The second one had some stupid parts, but had some really good parts. So I was like, you know what, this is okay. But that third Hobbit movie I saw in theaters was the most mad I think I've ever been in theaters. It was that or Man of Steel. I hate The Hobbit 3 with such a burning passion. I think it's the stupidest piece of shit I've seen in a. Oh God, I hate that movie.
It didn't make you as mad as Interstellar.
I wasn't that mad at Interstellar. I was rich. I don't really care about Interstellar. I think
I,
Interstellar was a really good 2 hours ruined by a dumb ending, but I'm not offended at it like Rich. I think I just didn't like Interstellar because it was like this really cool thing, and then at the end, it's like love's the most powerful force in the universe. And I'm like, that's it. That's the message is that love is strong. I don't really. That's just kind of just stupid and like I don't know, kind of elementary, I guess, for what it could have been because it was like smart before that. And it's like the science and stuff. Like, there's clearly like, a very intelligent stuff in that movie. So, like, I had expectations after the first hour of seeing it. I was like, okay, this is actually like a quality cinema and not just like a fun movie. And then it just loves so strong. It's stronger than any other force. I'm like, that's kind of lame, but I don't hate it or anything. I'm not rich. I'm not gonna go on as hour-long rants.
See, I remember after watching. I remember you hating it after we watched it. Because I remember you and Richard ganging up on me about how like offensive the movie was.
I might have just, I don't remember. I don't remember being offended by it. I might have just joined in on the hate because it was fun or something.
Probably.
But, yeah, no, that was not, the worst movies I've seen in theaters are, I guess, the Country Bears.
The Country Bear.
If you remember that movie. That was maybe like that was one of the first movies I saw in theaters. I think the first movie I saw in theaters was like Rugrats Lost in Paris or something that I don't remember. But Country Bears is awful. And Christopher Walken plays the bad guy in it. It's based off the Disney, like, it's not a ride, I guess the Disney attraction. It's so stupid. I saw that when I was like 4 with my grandmother. I personally hated Man of Steel. I really hated The Hobbit 3 and Suicide Squad. I saw at the drive-in, but I saw like an illegal screening of it at like literally 4 a.m. to like 7 a.m.
Wow.
Those are probably like the worst movies in my opinion I've seen at a theater.
Have you seen Kong Skull Island?
I've not. It didn't interest me.
The movie was bad. We all
Not
hate it.
surprised. Like,
It's
there's
the
just
worst
like
movie I've ever seen.
we don't need. You were talking about this last time. We're like, why do we need more con movies? It's a pretty straight. Yeah.
But yeah, we all hate Kong. Me, Richard, and Dimitri. We
I mean,
all hate Kong.
I don't give a. I really don't care about like King Kong as a character or like the lore of the world or anything. I haven't even seen. I haven't seen the Jack Black Peter Jackson one in forever, since around the time it was new. So I don't even remember that well.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody refer to that as the Jack Black King Kong.
I mean, he's in it, right? He's like the
Yeah.
director. It's like Jack Black, Adrian Brody is like the main guy. It's like Naomi Watts is the girl, and then there's like Chef, like Lumpy or whatever.
Andy Serkis. Yeah.
Andy Serkis. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Well, he plays a dude and King Kong, right?
Yeah.
He's also like one of the. Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's like a 3-hour movie too.
It's so long. Peter Jackson is a pretty indulgent man.
Yep.
Yeah. But going back to The Hobbit, I hate those movies. The third one ruined the other two. In my opinion. I've gone on at length about it, but I've honestly,
I'm sure
I've lost the passion.
Did you see The Last Jedi?
No, I haven't. I saw The Force Awakens, and I feel like my experience with that movie was similar to many other people, where when I watched it, like the minute after I watched it, I was like, that was really good. That was awesome. And then over time, I'm like, that's just like an Oak is fine. It's just like a New Hope. It's kind of forgettable. There's not, and I don't dislike it. I don't think it's bad, but like once the energy of like, holy crap, a new Star Wars movie was lost, it was just like, that was okay.
So was that the last Star Wars movie you've seen?
No, but I saw Rogue One, and then I saw the Solo movie.
You watched Solo, but you didn't watch The Last Jedi?
Well, I got invited to the Solo movie.
Uh,
That's the only reason I went, and I was bored. I didn't get invited by anyone to see The Last Jedi, and I don't know, like those movies come out at like Christmas, and it's always busy, and the theater's always crowded, and the theater's expensive now. So like, I'm not gonna go to a theater in December unless I like actually care about the movie, and I didn't care about The Last Jedi enough. Because like I would have, and then because like I liked the seventh one enough, but then like, so I probably would have seen it, but like I wouldn't have gone opening weekend or anything. And then like everyone on the internet was just so like fervently opposed to it that I'm like, if it's that bad, like I don't want to waste like a lot of my time and money to see something that apparently is like a piece of shit. I don't know if it is that bad, but the internet does not like that movie.
Are you planning on seeing Rise of Skywalker?
Is that the ninth one?
Yeah, coming out.
I don't, maybe. It depends on like my mood when it's out. But I haven't seen. I feel like I would have to watch The Last Jedi because like I have no idea what's happening. I don't even remember The Force Awakens that much.
Right. We'll just watch Last Jedi on Netflix.
No, I just like The Force Awakens was good enough to not make me like mad or anything. It was good enough to, but it wasn't. It wasn't like compelling enough to me where like I feel like I need to see what happens next.
Right.
Because it was just like it was so similar to A New Hope for me at least if I remember correctly, where I was just like, if they're just gonna remake like the original trilogy but with like new characters, like I don't really care, like didn't grab me.
I really like that.
Did you like the Solo movie?
It was okay.
It had aspects I thought were like were okay. I thought they made Han Solo a little too righteous, a little too like monogamous. You know what I mean? Like I think if I remember correctly, like his whole motivations were like, oh, I got to get my girl back, and I just feel like Han Solo, that's not like true to the character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And plus, he doesn't look or sound like Han Solo at all.
Yeah, I personally I don't really care that much about that fact because like I get like Harrison Ford's old and I would rather take like an okay actor who has some charm than like a shitty young CGI Harrison Ford or something. But
I don't know.
because
Young CGI Harrison
I
Ford.
can suspend my disbelief. But it did the thing where that like every prequel does, or a lot of them, where like they have to explain literally everything to the character. Like why, like when he got his name, it was so freaking dumb to me. He like was joining the Imperial Legion, and they're like, "What's your clan?" And he's like, "I don't got a clan." And the stormtrooper's like, "Solo it is." I'm like, why? Why do we need to know? Why can't his name just be Han Solo at birth? Why can't he just wear a vest at the beginning of the movie? Like, why do we have to learn how he got everything in a 2 hour period? It was literally just like he was a random dude, and then you saw him transform into Han Solo instead of just like Han Solo just going on an adventure or something. You know what I mean? They should have just made it Han Solo just like smuggling stuff, doing like morally ambiguous things with some charm. I feel like it would have been better than like a weird origin story that explains everything where he's like a righteous hero, but they just give him some jokes because he has to be funny because it's Han Solo.
The problem with the random guy giving the name Solo is that, I mean, yeah, sure, it works within the movie, but
But why would he ever go by that name?
and why would he give his son that name? Why wouldn't he have his son keep Leia's name, which is a name that actually means
It's because
something?
it's stupid. Because like Disney was like, oh, we got to explain everything. Like it's an origin story. We need that's what I hate about origin stories. It's like why does everything have to be explained? Why can't he just be named Han Solo? No one would care if just in the beginning of the movie he was referred to as Solo. You know?
Huh?
Why do you need to put in some stupid dialogue and waste a whole 5 minute scene about how he got the name? Why couldn't he just get the name at birth like everyone else? I don't know.
But
Like I get like the Chewbacca thing. I get like he probably didn't have a Wookiee following him his whole life. So if you want to explain that, that's fair. But like they crammed in Chewbacca, they crammed in Lando, they crammed in the name and like the vest and the Falcon, like everything about his character in the one movie. It's the origin story for the entire character instead of just like I feel like it would have been better if they did less explaining and more just like and they made him a little more like not bad but like morally ambiguous because he kind of is, you know? He's kind of a dick and that's kind of the point. And yeah, I don't know. It was okay. Like I'm not. It was the movie was fine enough where I wasn't like upset by it, and I did went in with zero expectations. So
did you see the Venom movie?
I had not. Like I said, I've seen three Marvel movies:
Oh, you
Iron
should.
Man 1, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think Thor were the only MCU movies I've ever seen.
Venom is an MCU.
Okay,
Sony,
well, whatever.
get your
And
facts
then I've
straight.
seen, yeah, and I've seen a decent amount of the X-Men ones.
Yeah, I guess you didn't see Dark Phoenix though.
No, God, no. I mean, that's playing at the drive-in right now, but I'm not gonna watch that. Apparently, it's bad.
How is the drive-in food?
Bad. I mean, French fries are okay. I mean, popcorn's popcorn, so if you like popcorn, it's good. French fries are like they're decent. If you get like the the Dino Nugs for like the kids' chicken meal, I really like those. The Dino Nuggets.
Mm.
The pizzas are fucking ass, I think. They're disgusting. I have to make the pizzas. I mean, it's like fried food, so, and
What
it's
do you
cheap.
make?
I make pizza. I
Oh, you
make
make.
Well, I make all of it. So like chicken fingers, chicken nuggets, French fries, mozzarella sticks, burgers, hot dogs, pretzels, pizza, fried dough, like the boneless chicken wings, like jalapeno poppers, all of that. Like I'm the fry cook, the professional chef, if you will. But yeah, this is my first night off in like 6 straight days or something. I've been there, so I need a day off. Thank God.
That's good.
Yeah, because it's an easy job. It's the easiest job in the world, but you're there pretty late sometimes. So
So I was wondering something. Since you're still in New York, did they tear down the old Toys R Us building?
no, they didn't even take down the sign. I was literally like I drove past it like 2 days ago. They did not tear it down, but I doubt no one's gonna buy it. Like
Isn't there some huge like recycling center though near there?
there's like the electronic recycling across the street, like closer to the mall. Well, the really big one next to it that was empty for most of our life. It was like a hardware store way back in the day,
Yeah.
like Chase Pickens. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's like the pediatrics now. That's a doctor's office.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like a massive, it's like the size of a Walmart. Or maybe a little smaller than Walmart. Maybe the size of a Target. It's a big building, and it's like I wonder, did they just like wall off a little bit of it or something, or is it just like a warehouse doctor's office? I've never been inside because it's like pediatrics, and I'm not a child, but
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
How's the mall looking?
The mall, I was also there very recently, first time in like 2 years. The mall is not doing well. I guess like most of this, the food court is like basically non-existent at this point. Like the Friendly's closed, the Burger King I think closed. So
Wow.
it's like Picnic Pizza and the Chinese place, I think might be the only two places left in the food court.
Gee.
I mean, the theater is probably never gonna move because like it's hard to. That's not like you can't just like you know what I mean. Like a store can be opened anywhere, but like a theater, you need like a big place. So like, I assume the theater's never gonna leave, and like that's profitable. But like the rest of it, there's a lot of empty. There's a lot of empty things. I was in Sears, and there was literally, I think I might have been the only person I saw in Sears. It was like an eerie ghost town experience.
And that there's nothing
I
where the
didn't see
Macy's used to be.
employees. It was just like, and everything was stocked up. It wasn't like it was complete. Like the store was empty. There was like clothes and like hardware stuff everywhere. It was just like there was no one there, and it was just, like almost like dead silent. Like when you're in the woods alone, like far away from civilization, level quiet. There, it was kind of. It was a little eerie. Uh, Macy's closed.
That closed a while ago, but they haven't put anything in there.
Bonton closed.
Isn't that like right across from Macy's?
Yeah, it was like it was like one of the big stores, one of like the department ones, on like I guess the west side of the mall. JC Penney's is still there. Sears is still there, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be there for long. I guess like
Burlington.
GameStop's there, but like there's like two GameStops in town for some reason. I don't and it's not a big enough town to warrant two. So I don't know why they have two of them. Uh,
What's the sports place? Is that Academy?
Olympia,
Olympia.
Olympia's still there. Like Finish Line's still there. Hallmark's closed. Not that it really matters much. It's like they like where there was like that one clothing store that it's gone now, and now it's Hesselson, so it was a hot tub store in the mall.
Yeah, there was a hot tub store. So the hot tub store is
I don't know
gone.
when was the last time you were there? Like when did you move? What?
Well, I moved in 2015, but the
Okay.
last time I was in New York was 2018. I saw you 2018.
you like were on my porch, right? You and Dimitri just like walked on my porch of my
Well,
parents' house.
no,
Without,
I was hanging out by the library, and you drove by and saw me at the library.
oh shit, yeah. I was like, I pulled into the parking lot to go to my driveway. I was like, holy shit, it's Liam.
And
No,
because
but the last time I saw Dimitri, at least in person, was like
yeah,
I
it
don't know
was
if I
that
was
time
in
too.
college or if I was like a senior in high school. I don't know when. It was like probably two. I was probably in college. It was probably like 2 years ago. Like I was watching like sports with my dad in like the front room, and then Dimitri, I just see out the window on my porch, just knock on the window. I had no idea you guys were in town. It was like his girlfriend was there and you were there, and I just like talked to you guys on my porch for like an hour.
Yeah, that was the same time
That
because
was the same time.
yeah, because he was then, and I told him like, hey, I just saw Joe, and I guess we decided to go visit.
Yeah.
But because we didn't expect to see you because Richard lied to us and said you weren't in Horsehead for some reason.
Well, do you know what month it was?
I don't know,
Because,
maybe like
like I said, I'm not in Horseheads most of the year, so if it was like spring break or something,
Richard's like never in Horseheads.
Richard, yeah, rarely. I mean, there's not
Like,
a lot of reason to be here.
now, do you understand what Richard is doing?
Like his job?
I mean, like, but why is he choosing to do this?
Because he wants to?
But it's so like you don't think it's kind of like weird? He doesn't have like he
I
does
mean,
these weird
I
things.
would. I mean, I guess I personally, I don't think I could do it, but he can. And it's not, I don't think he's going to be doing it for like the temporary stuff forever. I think the goal is to kind of graduate out of like weird temp research stuff in various woods and to get more stable prospects in the future. But you need to like, you need to do your time before you get to that point in the field, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the wildlife research industry very well, I guess. It's not an industry, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't think he wants to like every 6 months move to another state in the middle of nowhere with no internet. But I think it's like you gotta put in your time before you get to the point where you can be stable. And he's still like he's only like well, how old is he? He's 24, so he's still
23.
like young.
Wait.
He's not married or anything.
Yeah.
But that's something
Uh,
to ask him, not me.
we've asked him. He doesn't give us straight answers.
Okay.
But
What's your deal then? Like, what are you doing?
I am in college to train to become an electrician.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, see, I'm getting a trade. You know,
That's a good move.
something that's going to be useful in the apocalypse.
It well, yeah, that I didn't think about that, but it's more just like it's pretty high paying job that doesn't require a ton of education. So like you don't have to pay like $300,000 to get a degree and then you're in debt the rest of your life. Uh, and it's like there's a demand for it because like the way society is now is like there's so much expectations to get college degrees that like the jobs that don't require college degrees are kind of being neglected,
And then
including the trades, which are actually good jobs that pay well. Like electricians make good money.
right, yeah.
It's not like you're like a migrant farmer or anything. Like it's legitimately a good job. But yeah, I guess a lot of society in America values different things now. But
And the problem is too is the people they take these student loans and then they get like a meaningless degree.
yeah, I mean,
And then it's
I am getting a meaningless bachelor's degree right now. I'm graduating soon,
how
but
many years have you done so far?
I have done 3, and I'm graduating in 3.5. So I'm graduating in December
Hmm.
with a political science degree, which is useless. But I wanna. That's not the end goal. So
You going back to do more college?
yeah, yeah.
What's the end goal with that college then?
It's law school.
Law school, yeah.
Yeah, lawyer. Yeah,
Gonna become like a gonna become like a sketchy lawyer, like Better Call Saul.
yeah, yeah. That would be cool. I'd be like the less charming version of Saul.
Well, I know who to call when I need a lawyer then.
Yeah. Except I'm not gonna go to Mississippi because screw that. Like, how hot is it in Mississippi right now? 'Cause it's July now.
It's not bad. I mean, the good thing about Mississippi is that
Nothing.
like every place in Mississippi has air conditioning.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
That's like a standard. You're not gonna walk into a building in Mississippi and they don't have air conditioning.
That would be like cruel and unusual punishment. Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't. So how close are you to where Dimitri is?
I like an 8 hour
8 hours?
drive.
Really, 8 hours? Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't realize it was that. I thought it would have been closer.
He lives in middle of nowhere, Kentucky, for some reason.
Yeah. I don't really know where. I don't know the South that well. I'm not a Southerner.
Right.
I've lived my entire life in upstate New York, so.
You ever travel anywhere?
I've been like all over the East Coast of America. Like I went to Colorado with Rich a couple summers ago.
'Cause you had to like drop them off.
What?
You had to like drop them off, didn't you?
I had to drop him off in Oregon, yeah. That was like less that I wish I mean it was fun, but like literally what happened is like his job when he got hired there for the first time told him like, "Oh, we need you in Oregon in like 4 days." And it was like the week before Christmas. The thing is like he had to drive out there. He couldn't fly because like he's going to live in Oregon, so he needed his car there, you know? So he had to drive to Oregon in 4 days in the dead of winter throughout the entire north of the northern half of America. So it's literally like it's like such a long drive. Like you literally need to take at least 3 days to do it. So and it's so he would have to drive like 12 plus hours a day for like 4 days straight to get there. And like that's probably not safe first and all, but it's also just incredibly boring and would probably crush your soul if you did that. So my parents offered to pay for the plane ticket back for me. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. I'll help him drive to Oregon. So we drove all the way from Horseheads, like through Chicago, through Minnesota, through North Dakota and Montana and Washington, all the way to Portland. And then when I got to Portland, I was in Portland for 6 hours in Oregon. And like half of that time was in a mall because I accidentally only brought one pair of pants and I was about to get on a cross country flight and I didn't want to be that like asshole who smelled terrible because I was in a car for the last 4 days. And so like I had to buy a new pair of clothes and stuff so I didn't smell as bad. So because I didn't close quarters in the plane. I didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
So like I spent like 5 hours in Portland. And then I immediately went to the airport and then flew to JFK and then to Rochester. So I barely got to do anything.
You flew to Rochester?
We spent the night in Chicago. That was cool because I've never been there, and Chicago's awesome. And then we went. The other stop we did was at Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota for like maybe an hour. But yeah, I'm glad I did it. I get to say I drove. I've been to North Dakota. That's kind of interesting. Not a lot of people can say that.
So why did you fly to Rochester instead of Elmira?
Because it's like a lot of money, and like my dad could have hit me up. Like he wasn't like by the time I was on the way back, it was like December 23rd or something. So like my parents weren't like had work off that whole week, and it was like an extra like several $100s to get a connecting flight to Elmira when Rochester's like an hour 45 minutes away. And yeah, because And it was just the cheapest way was to fly from Portland to New York City, and I don't think there's flights from New York City to Elmira. I think you would have to go to like Detroit, so I would have to buy a ticket from Portland to Detroit and then to Elmira or something. That was like a lot more money, and it's not worth it at that point. You can just drive to Rochester, and it's not bad. Rochester's close. Like I'm like going there in like next week. It's pretty close.
So you went Portland straight to JFK?
Yeah, and then I had like a half-hour layover, and then I flew from JFK to Rochester.
That's a pretty long flight.
I mean, it was like the flight left Oregon at like 11 p.m. Pacific time, and we landed in like New York at like 6 a.m. Eastern, and then it was like another hour from like layover plus Rochester flight. So it was basically just like I was half asleep for the night on a plane, and then I got back to Horseheads at like 9, 10 a.m. It wasn't that bad, all things considered. But like JFK was so crowded, and the only time I've flown before then was in first grade when my family went to Disney World, and I was I think 6, so I didn't remember, and I had no idea how airports worked back then. So like, and I have like airport anxiety kind of, like, I don't know. I'm always just afraid I'm gonna like accidentally walk in the wrong place and that I'm gonna get like arrested by like
Right.
by like the FBI or something. But yeah, so like I didn't really know how airports worked, and like it was the week before Christmas in JFK, so that was pretty stressful. Plus the layover was only half an hour, so I had to get it was in the same terminal, but like it was a big terminal too. Like
That's not a lot of time.
so I had to walk across a terminal to like another gate that I didn't know really where I was going after like not sleeping for 20 hours straight. Yeah, it was kind of stressful for like barely knowing how airports work. Like the Portland airport was super freaking chill because like I got there at like 9 p.m. so there wasn't that many people, and it was just like I just went through security. I just like sat there and read a book. It's apparently they claim it's rated #1 airport in America. I don't really know what that means, but that's what they say. So it was very clean. The staff was nice. It's small enough where it was like pretty manageable.
You knew I've been to Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
That was, boy, that's a long flight crossing the Pacific.
Because like, did you leave from Mississippi?
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's not
So
direct.
you like flew from like Mississippi to like LA or San Diego or something, and then to Honolulu?
Well, the first time I left from New York, so I went Elmira to Detroit to
Jesus.
I want to say Houston or somewhere.
Like that makes sense.
I don't really remember.
George Bush Airport.
I think on the way back, I know either on the way there or the way back, I went to LAX, which is really strange because it's like a claustrophobic airport.
I've never heard good things about LAX. I've never been to California, but it's apparently like, yeah, a horrible place, I guess.
But that was 2014. Now when I went again in 2017, it was from Gulfport. But on the trip back, I went from Hawaii to Houston, either Houston or I think it was Houston.
Dallas, maybe.
I think it was Houston.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. Houston's big old city.
So the flight from Hawaii to Houston was 7 hours, and then I had an 8-hour layover.
Oh my god.
So that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that. I don't fly. Like I'm 21. I can't afford plane tickets. But wow, yeah, that sounds like terrible.
It was pretty terrible, and of course, it was like I didn't sleep. I can't sleep on flights.
I didn't sleep on the plane I was at. Like I tried to, but I was in and out.
Yeah. So I didn't sleep on the flight from Hawaii to Houston, and And I'm not gonna sleep in an airport. That just seems weird to me. You know, some random person's gonna like come up to you, steal your stuff or
And that's the
something.
thing, because if you're driving, you're at least like alone or like only with like whoever you're driving with. So you can be kind of gross and stuff if you're going on like a super long drive and not feel like conscious about it. But like at an airport, like you're in public, there's a ton of people around you. So you have to, kind of behave, at least in a somewhat acceptable way. You can't just like, yeah.
I think when I finally got home, I slept for like 16 hours straight.
That's what I did when I got back from Oregon. Is like I just like collapsed. I closed my curtains and I slept until like 7 p.m. Messed up my sleep schedule. But yeah.
And the great thing about it, though, is I wanted to do some filming, like do some reviews for my channel, and I was there so early. I did like a couple reviews because the airport was like empty, so I could find like a completely empty spot at the airport.
That's funny.
And then eventually the airport started filling up, and I still had like one more review I wanted to do. So it was basically like 5 hours of me trying to film a Blade Runner 2049 review, and I was like,
Just like wait a week.
I don't know, and I guess it was just I was wandering the airport trying to find a secluded enough place where I could do it.
I guess the bathroom would have been the best bet, wouldn't it?
I didn't think about that. That would have felt weird, and then too
It
extra.
would have been weird, especially if someone went in and you're like, they just hear a dude in a stall talking about Blade Runner.
Yeah, and I don't even have. I don't even have the Blade. I don't even know where the Blade Runner footage went.
Like, it's not on YouTube?
No, I haven't.
What a waste.
I don't know what happened to that little drive. I gotta like find the little SD card that I have it on. I don't know where it went.
Just use SD cards?
Yeah,
They're like still a thing?
yeah.
Wow.
Because I had like a camcorder, not like a real. I wasn't using my phone. I was using a camcorder. So
Yeah.
and
I don't have any like airport stories because I don't really go to the airport.
yeah,
I've been to Newark to pick up Rich once, and like that airport, like it was just ramshackle. It was like a shithole in there.
really.
The Newark airport.
I think they did a lot of remodeling to the Elmira airport. I think.
Yeah, they built like an entire terminal, or like they're doing it now. And they've done a lot, but I haven't been in there, and I've been in there like twice, like actually inside. I think like when we went to Disney World when I was 6, and then Richard went to Disney World when he was like 16 or 17 for high school marching band, and they flew. I went to Disney World with the marching band when I was like 16, but we had to take a 22-hour bus ride down I-95 to Florida.
But that was fun.
So like Rich got a free, or I know you had to pay, but like you pay like $600 for like the plane and like 3 days at Disney World and stuff. And I paid $600, like the exact same price to drive in a coach bus. So I'm still bitter about that.
That must have really sucked.
But I picked him up, or like with my parents, we picked him up at the airport, like in Elmira. So that was I think literally the last time I was in the Elmira airport. Like I drive by it all the time, like every day I go by it, but there's no reason to go to the airport if you're not flying. I guess if you want like the Cinnabon or something.
Well, yeah, isn't there a Cinnabon in the mall still?
Yeah, I think by like Sprint or whatever.
Is it near the Sports Hall of Fame?
I think so. I think that moved. I think that might have moved though.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, your like knowledge of the Arnott Mall is more up to date than I thought of. Like you and I probably like have the same like knowledge of what's there. It's like I haven't really been much the last 3 years. I went once last week for like 10 minutes because I needed shoes, but
Right.
Yeah, because like I see in my mind like the Cinnabon's new. That's like one of the newest things there.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know about the Cinnabon. That means it's at least like 3 years old, probably
Not 2 years old, I
2 years old.
Well, actually, no. It it had to have been there 2015.
Yeah, like that's like a four. There can't be four. I mean, I guess like I stopped going to the mall somewhat frequently when I was like 12. After like I turned 12 or 13, like the only reason I ever went to the mall was really to go to the movie theater.
Right.
So, which wasn't that often. So, yeah, I still think of the mall as like what it was like in like 2008 mall is probably like peak mall years for me.
Did you go by the Kmart Plaza, see what that looks like now that it's closed?
Yeah, I know that. I mean, that's pretty. Kmart's closed.
It's
It's
gotta
like
be
that
so
antique
empty.
store thing. Did you know about that?
What antique store?
It's where like the gym was, and then it became like a laser tag place, and now it's like a they sell like used furniture and stuff now. It's like an antique place.
Wow.
And then Tractor Supply's still there, Subway's still there, Lynn Buffet's still there, Bargain Outlet I think's there, the liquor store is still there.
Is the music store there, or did the music store take over?
Maybe I'm not sure. Giuseppe's is still there,
Yeah.
but they're building a KFC now next to the Rite Aid by McDonald's.
Oh,
That's the big news. We're getting a KFC again.
is that a big building?
What?
Is that gonna be like? Are they like building a new building?
I guess, but it's not gonna be like big. It's a KFC. Like
Wait, wasn't there already a KFC near Bosie's?
no, there
Like
was
a
an
like
Arby's.
oh, that's an Arby's.
There was an Ar. No, there was a KFC when I was a very young child, before they even built like the overpass for the highway, and then that closed down. So the closest KFC was in like Southport, like almost in Pennsylvania, like way south side of Elmira.
Hmm.
So yeah, like there hasn't been a KFC in Horseheads in over 10 years,
Oh wow.
but they're getting one, which I guess
I
is.
guess that's good.
I mean, I don't really care.
I've never been to KFC.
Really. I mean, it used to be better than it is now.
Well,
I don't really go ever because like there's literally one my apartment in Buffalo is like very like walkable to one. But I still like I've never been to that specific one. I went to one in Ohio recently and it was like not that good.
why go to KFC when you can just go to Popeyes? It's a lot better.
Yeah, yeah. There is the Popeyes in Horseheads.
That's
I don't.
that's crazy.
You know about that? That's
Yeah,
not. That's like not that new at this point.
I know about it because my mom loves Popeyes, and that was always like a big thing. She never got to get Popeyes when she was in New York, and then we moved to Mississippi, and then they opened the Popeyes.
Well, there's got to be Popeyes in Mississippi, right? Isn't it like
Oh,
a Louisiana chain? Like
yeah, there's Popeyes in Mississippi. It was just like the fact that as
it's
soon
kind
as
of
we
knowing
leave,
like the minute you move is when they get it. Yeah. Is there like a fast food chain that's like regional to the Mississippi area? You know,
I
there's some regional fast food chains. There's like the
I guess it'd probably be Popeyes. Popeyes is definitely more of
Popeyes.
like a
Popeyes is like the local one,
what do you mean like a local one? Like
or like regional, I guess. Like what's like Mississippi cuisine like? Is it all just like shrimp and stuff?
yeah, it's a lot of seafood.
Cajun food? Because you're like on the ocean part of Mississippi, right?
Yeah, the coast, Gulf
Yeah.
Coast.
So it's probably good food.
Yeah, a lot of
I like seafood and I like Cajun stuff. I don't know if you got how much of that you got, but
yeah, a lot of seafood, a lot of Cajun stuff because
it's like
it
soul food.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of like lead off from New Orleans.
Yeah,
So
that sounds kind of cool actually. Other than the fact that it's Mississippi.
it's not bad. You come
Yeah.
visit sometime. Dimitri came
I
down.
probably won't because it's very like isolated from anything else for me specifically.
I feel like I'm talking to Richard again.
I mean, like, I'm poor, man. I'm not gonna. It's like, and it's pretty far. It's not
Yeah,
like
I know.
something you just like drive to in a day. It's not like you're in Virginia or something where it's like far enough where it's far, but like you could actually do it. It's like, yeah, that's gotta be
Did
like
you
20 plus hour drive if you don't fly. And flying's like $600 for a domestic flight anyway.
I think it should be like $300 from Horseheads to. I think that's about the going price. Horseheads to Gulfport,
How
about
big
300.
is Gulfport? Like I've heard of it before you moved there. So it can't be small, but
It's decently big. It's right next to Biloxi, which is bigger.
it's like bigger than Horseheads area, I
Oh,
assume, right?
yes, absolutely. It's bigger than some of the stuff around Horseheads. It's bigger than Corning, I would say. Or
Yeah. Well, like I bet like it's bigger than the whole like I consider like the Horseheads area to be like Elmira, then Horseheads and Corning combined, like those three play, and then like I guess Painted Post as well. Like those three things are kind of the same. Like you can drive from Elmira like on the highway to Corning, and it's like civilization the entire way. You know,
Horseheads is
you
nothing.
never like have a 20 minute like just like no exits, no nothing but trees, and then the next town. It's like they're kind of built together. Like Elmira, like you're in Elmira, and then you're in Elmira Heights, and then you're in Horseheads like immediately. Like it doesn't even look different. And then from Horseheads you can go to Big Flats, and it's like kind of the same thing. And then you're in Corning by then.
All right, but Horseheads is nothing really.
Yeah, I mean it's like 100,000 people in like a 25-mile radius. So it's not completely tiny, but it's not big. I spend most of the year in Buffalo, which isn't huge, but it's a lot bigger than Horseheads, and it feels a lot bigger. Like there's a subway, shockingly,
Did
and like
you
sports teams and stuff, and it's like kind of famous.
did you ever watch Lost?
In like when I was in like seventh grade,
Hmm. Never any desire to rewatch it?
no,
Should. It's a good show.
I won't. I'm just telling you now. But
No, I definitely feel
I'll
like
take your word for it. I liked it when I saw it. Well, like no one care. I think you're the only one in the world at this point who cares that much. It's like,
No, I'm not.
I mean, I guess if you have like the convention or whatever that you went to, but
Exactly. I went to it twice.
how? What is that even like? Like, who are the people that go to that thing?
Other Lost fans.
But like, what is the average loss? Like, how many people go? It
I
just
think
seems
the
like a strange thing to exist to me, but I guess I'm just ignorant of the lost community.
the first one was like 200 something people,
Okay, it's not a
and then,
tiny amount.
yeah, I think it was like 200 something, and the second one was like 100 something. It was less. There are some problems with it. Why people aren't as inclined to go.
Was it like a why? Was it sketchy?
Some people think there's. Some people might think there's a little sketchiness going on. A little like, where exactly is our money going to?
Ah, it's like a fire festival kind of thing.
Yeah, except much considerably more legitimate because we are doing stuff.
Yeah, it's not like you're just taking people's money and then like trapping on an island.
I guess a lot of people think, that what we're getting isn't exactly worth what we're paying.
I mean, it's in like I assume most of the people that go aren't local to Hawaii because like not that many people live on Hawaii. So, or, like even if the ticket's super cheap, like you have to. I assume everyone or like 99% of people that go have to fly across the ocean.
And the problem with it too is it's not marketed properly because I can't tell you how many times I was in Hawaii and talking to somebody who also lives in Hawaii, and they're like, "Oh, so what are you doing in here?" Like, "Oh, I'm at the Lost convention." And like, "Oh, there's a Lost convention? I would have gone to that." It's like, y- they live in
How many
Hawaii.
people are like looking up things about Lost at this point? It's like 10 years old. Like it ended 10 years ago.
Ended 10 years ago next year.
Okay, that was close enough. But like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is there like, it's not like if you're a fan of the show, it's like, it's old enough at this point where it's not like there's probably not a lot of internet presence for Lost stuff like there is newer shows. There's,
I guess, but it's just not being marketed properly.
but like, how would you market something that niche?
I don't know.
Like,
But
does the average like hardcore Lost fan go on like internet forums designed for Lost fans and stuff? Like, is that a thing, or do they just
Probably.
get lost and live a normal life other than that? Like
But
you
the
know what I
fact
mean?
that, yeah, just the
How,
fact that
how do you find
people,
these people?
I don't know, but it's weird.
Yeah.
People in Hawaii should know about this.
I mean,
You know, like
wait, is
especially
it in
Lost.
Honolulu?
Yeah, it's in Honolulu.
I mean, there's like a million people in the Honolulu like area.
Well, I'm not saying everybody in Hawaii. I'm saying, you know, a fan of Lost who is in Hawaii
But there's
should
probably
know.
like 5 of those that exist.
I don't
A
know.
fan of Lost, a fan from Lost, like who's diehard enough to want to go to the convention. I'm sure there's Lost fans all over the place, but like 99% of people who like Lost will never go to a convention for it, because that's like a next level fandom.
A lot of people went.
Yeah, but was it just? I guess like it's in Hawaii, so that doesn't hurt. Like it's a destination in and itself.
Yeah, if you,
But like
it,
even if the convention blows, like you're in Hawaii, you can still have a good time.
yeah. See, if you're a normal person, you want to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, like I would want to go to Hawaii, and I would really rather not go to the Lost convention. But I would go to Hawaii in a heartbeat if the opportunity presented itself.
Yeah. See, normal people want to go to Hawaii.
2020, that's so long in advance. I don't even know where I'm gonna be, like where I'm gonna be at that point. So, oh God. But yeah, I don't think about the future because it's future's frightening.
Maybe you should think about the future then.
I should? Nah. How close to the airport are you?
Close enough where I get loud planes flying over.
That was so loud.
Yeah, that's why I prefer doing it at night more because there's less planes.
Are you like, do you live on the runway?
No, it's just I don't know. It's not like my room is exactly soundproof either.
That's fair. I mean, I hear like anytime a motorcycle drives by, which is very often in the summer, because you know where my parents live. It's like it literally vibrates the house. It's very annoying.
Did you guys get another dog?
Nope. Mookie, like he died in like 2016, I think. He
Okay,
died like the
yeah.
minute I went to college.
Why did I think you guys got another dog?
We didn't. I don't know. I don't think I've been in the house in like 5 years, so.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah, I got a stupid German Shepherd.
That's fun.
I feel like he's huge, like a horse. Ridiculous. It's annoying. He's so big compared to Mookie, though. It's weird.
Yeah, as a small man, I actually like small dogs because like they're not bigger than you.
Right.
And Mookie was specifically very chill later in life. Like his last 7 years, he was very chill and just kind of just like walked around and sat down. And he was like a younger, he would bark and run around and stuff, but he kind of stopped doing that halfway through.
Well, is that chillness or old age?
I think it's both. I mean, it's probably chillness as the result of old age, but he's still chill.
Watch anything on TV?
I watch a lot of sports.
Sports.
More than anything else. But I gotta go now.
All right. Well, I guess we'll end the podcast here.
And a good one. So much talk about movie marathon.
Thanks for listening, guys.